Yo. Welcome back to another episode of Shot Boys Podcast. On today's episode, we got to talk about Nikola Vucevic calling for the Bulls to not make a trade at the deadline, as Billy Donovan is set to meet with the front office to discuss trade options. Hold on. Y'all know we got to hear this music first.
Cognac. Gang.
Shot Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on another episode for me and my co-host, C-Dub. Now, look, y'all. Nikola Vucevic is calling for the Bulls to not make any trades. No major changes at the trade deadline, which is tomorrow. For real. That is crazy. But, we do know that Billy Donovan is set to meet with the front office. So according to Jay Cali Hoop, Chicago Bulls head coach Billy Donovan has a meeting today about the trade deadline with Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations Arturas Karnasovas, or AK, and General Manager Mark Eversley. I know a few things that they're going to have to definitely discuss. What's the future for Nikola Vucevic? We're hearing that they might be looking for an extension now and actually keeping him around, especially with how well he's been playing this year. Has, in my opinion, been the most consistent Chicago Bull. So I can understand it. And if it's not a deal out there that makes you better at the center position or helps the team, I can see an extension happening. I'm not going to lie about that. And then they will have to go in there and talk about Ayo. You know, what's the future looking like for him? You know what I'm saying? I believe that with the fall of Lonzo Ball, I believe this is going to be Ayo. I believe Ayo sticks around. I think the chances are more than likely that he sticks around. I believe him being moved is very slim, in my opinion, especially with his defense and as of late, his offensive game, you know, taking a step forward. You know what I mean? Not a big step, but I would say a step forward with him attacking in transition. You want to see it. You want to see it more often. But you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. He has, you know, glimpses and glamours of doing his thing. And then they're going to have to go ahead and talk about Kobe White. Because the truth is that the bench, the Bulls bench, it needs help. Especially after watching last night to where on a night to a back-to-back to where you got most of the starters, you know, their legs start to get heavy. You should be able to rely on your bench a little bit more. I know that we could have called on players like Dalen Terry or seen more out of DJJ and things like that, or even look to, you know, add somebody else in the lineup. But the point is that was a scoring void yesterday, and it was very, very obvious. You know what I'm saying? Goran Dragic wasn't able to do much. Kobe White wasn't able to do much. Drummond was able to come in, you know, provide just a little bit of spark and, you know, some resistance against that big lineup that Memphis Grizzlies put out there. But essentially, it just wasn't good enough. And if we're thinking about what the bench and what needs to be proven on the team, if we think about it, can we all sit right here and say there is a Chicago Bull that is on this team currently that's a three-point specialist? We cannot. We could say we have good three-point shooters, but we don't have a specialist. Now, don't get me wrong. They're not easy to come by, but there are some three-point shooters who have been rumored, you know, to be involved in some, you know, trade talks, you know, like a Buddy Hield or like a Gary Trent Jr. To me, I would say those two guys are better than just about everyone in three-point shooting on this team. That's just me. And then another thing to consider is a guy who is guaranteed to contribute, like Kobe White. I love what he's done. I love what he's added to his game, but it's not a guarantee he's going to contribute every single night offensively when the Bulls need that scoring punch. You need that punch off the bench. It's not a sure thing that DJJ is going to produce off the bench. It's not a sure thing that Goran Dragic is going to produce off the bench. So I believe that's what the Bulls need to attack. I'm okay with moving forward with the big three, but there needs to be some changes around the big three. There needs to be some changes around the big three because you see in a night to where DeMar DeRozan goes down hurt and he's out of the game. Once the opposing team keys in on Zach LaVine and Vooch is out the game, it's very difficult for these guys, to continue points, especially when Zach goes to sit down. Now, who's going to provide that offense? So that was a struggle right there, and it should have been, in most cases, the good teams, they have guys, while their best players are sitting, they have guys that are good enough to put points on the board. You know what I'm saying? Another thing they will have to talk about is Drummond. Drummond is expected to be moved, but it's up and down for me, you know what I'm saying? Because you come in, you watch Drummond go ahead and drop 21, 15, get you assists, get you 3 blocks and all this stuff. But then you see him come out in games like last night to where he put up some resistance when needed against the Memphis Grizzlies big lineup. But then he got in the second half and we was like, Drummond, what the hell are you doing? Like, what about, the Euro step and then the air ball layup? Yeah, that was wild to me. You know what I'm saying? So things like that, and then throwing balls out of bounds, things like that. So it's some good with Drummond, but then it comes those moments to where you like, what the hell? So that's how it is with Drummond. But on the Vooch, man, Vooch is calling for the front office to keep the team together. Me personally, like I just mentioned not too long ago, I would rather keep if you keep anybody, you should be keeping the big three. But you definitely need to make changes surrounding the big three if possible. If a deal is made, the deal has to make sense for the team. Don't just make a deal just to say you were active at the trade deadline. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we got to come to reality to say that they might not make a move. You know what I'm saying? But we would like them to. You know what I'm saying? But at what cost? Because if I'm keeping it a buck, I love Kobe White. But if you can add somebody that can come in with a more of an offensive scoring punch, you know what I'm saying? You can kind of replace some of that defense that Kobe White, has added to his game this season. And keeping it a buck, yeah, I like when listening to guys like Hayes and Pat the Designer, they said at this particular moment, we got to stop being in love with these players and think from the business side. And that's what's facts in this whole situation. Because at the end of the day, the goal is to put a contender on the court. And right now, this Bulls team is not a contender. So no matter who we love and who we seen grow up for being small time to big time or improving, we gotta let that love go and think of it from a business perspective. But Nikola Vucevic, when he was talking about it, he was saying we're at a point in our career where we do want to win and get there. When you put all that together, it makes a lot of sense to give us a shot and continue to work on it. Okay. And then he said, when the three of us take the lead and play the way we need to play, we could be a good team. But the problem is, Vuce, is that right now you're an okay team. You're not a good team. On nights, you and your guys show that you guys have the potential to be a good team. But then you come out in multiple games during the season, not just the one last night against the Memphis Grizzlies. And you know what I'm saying? We see bonehead mistakes after bonehead mistakes after bonehead mistakes. Bunch of turnovers. You can't put the ball in the basket. You guys are not coming out with the intensity. And hence why I wasn't even that damn upset last night, because the Bulls have shown us who they are already. Why should they haven't made any major changes. Why should we believe that there is something else going to happen? The Bulls are going to play a good few games, and then it's going to be that one game to where you're like, well, this is who we really are, back down to earth. And that's what yesterday was. You know what I'm saying? So I question Nikola Vucevic. Why should we keep this team together as currently constructed? Why? Because there's a need for shooting on this team. There's a need for better point guard play off the bench, because Goran Dragic, after like 2 weeks at the start of the season, has been dumpster juice, in my opinion. I hate seeing him on the floor for extended periods of time. I feel like you can get more out of Dalen Terry, even though he might not have that experience. I guarantee you he will bring more energy. You need more scoring off the bench as a total. You know what I'm saying? You can't have guys laying eggs when others fall. When one person fall, others have to step up, and that's when your best players are supposed to be available. You know what I'm saying? You got something from Vooch. You got something for Zach, even though he was getting on our nerves. Where's the contribution from P. Will? Where's the added contribution from Dragic? The added contribution from Kobe? The added contribution from Drummond? That's the things that we had to really, really consider. And right now, the Chicago Bulls are 9th in the East, and they can't get over 500, Vooch. Y'all can't get over 500, bro. So why should we believe in this team as currently constructed, bro? That makes no sense. You guys are not getting it done. You did not get it. The team was pretty much the same in the second half of last season, and now we already to a new point to where we going into the second half of this season, and you're still showing us the same bull crap, bro. That's the reality. That's the reality. We cannot continue to watch this brand of basketball, bro. Y'all put together 3 games, but if you win this game, you extend that to 4. You had the guys, you took the lead back, and you couldn't close the deal. Part of it is coaching rotations, in my opinion. Part of it is lack of intensity. Part of it is stupid mistakes, and part of it is not making shots that were wide open in the fourth quarter. No, Vooch, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough, and it's unacceptable for Chicago fans like me. I don't appreciate that. So to see, I'm with you. You want to ball out? I'm with the front office if they be like, all right, we're going to keep the big 3. But if there's something on the table that makes sense, the Bulls cannot stand pat, bro. If it makes sense. Don't just trade just to make a trade. But if it makes sense, the change needs to happen. In the form of better point guard play, better 3-point shooting, or more size. And those 3 things for me. That's what we need to see. So, Vooch, I appreciate you calling for the front office to keep things together. But my brother, again, no. A move has to be made if it makes sense. So, that's it for me today, y'all. Go ahead and hit the comment box. Let me know how y'all feeling about today's episode. Let me know what y'all expecting to happen, if anything is going to happen. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to be a part of our mailbag episodes, hit us up at 773-242-9219. This is another episode of Shy Boys Podcast. I'm Bobby. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.
Cognac. Gang.